whoever wants to share with recognition to start.
Yeah, let's go for it, ladies.
I'm not sure. Am I delayed or am I good? Okay. I just got a shout out. Y'all heard her last week and she should be on here any minute, but Allie Workman's just been hustling so friggin' hard, and she's one emerald away from diamond, and she sat for 3 years, guys, like as a discount coach. So don't give up on your people, keep serving them. And she has her spouse account to Success Club 2 and her account to SC10. So it's just proof with consistency and commitment and belief. This month is not over, and I think all of us as leaders can agree that, like, it doesn't matter where you're at today, it matters what you do over the next week. So you kind of have a choice, and I'm calling all of us out right now, myself included, of like, let's learn from tonight and take this and implement it, and know that there's 3 to 5 people out there at minimum that need you and your story and your support in this journey. So don't you dare give up on September. And I'm so glad that y'all are all here plugged in tonight. Like, kill it. All right, stop now.
I will follow you because you guys heard from her last week, Miss Nicole Cochran. She is a new coach and she just locked in Emerald and Success Starter month 1. And she got awesome results in her program. And she's doing a program now that she thought she never could, and she's crushing it. So Nicole, people like you, and she was also a coach in the past and, you know, kind of just walked away from this and now is coming back years later, just completely starting fresh, like all of us, and just getting started and going through the steps. And I think what I've noticed so far is that she's not trying to skip the steps. She is literally taking it day by day, activity by activity, focusing on the action, and not so much trying to, you know, create that vision for her life right now. She knows that ultimately this business could provide for her more than she ever thought, but she knows that to think about it in that way right now is so overwhelming. And I'm sure so many of you guys can relate to that too. But it's about thinking about, what can I do today? What do I need to check off this week? What are my goals by the end of the month? And taking it step by step. Guys, that compounded over time is what builds humongous businesses. So do not discredit things like hitting Emerald or hitting Success Club. Those are huge in getting started in your business. And if you keep continuing to challenge yourself to that next phase, you're ultimately going to keep growing. So Nicole, huge congrats to you coming out of the gate strong. Super proud, coach.
Anyone else? I've heard it takes 7 seconds to process a question, form the answer, and then ask it. So that's why I waited a little bit. All right, well,
I'll go.
Oh, yay. 7 seconds.
So she's not on here, but she'll definitely watch the replay. I just wanted to shout out my coach, Kim, for literally rocking it. I mean, she has put herself out there, and she was so fearful. She was like me in the beginning of the business, and like, I mean, honestly, we're probably the same person, but she's out there like sharing her journey. She's out there showing her transformation pics, like no shame at all. And just the amount of confidence that she has gotten, you know, just over the last couple of weeks is just amazing. And I've been in a rut, and she is actually inspiring me to keep going. She texts me every day. She talks to me. So I just want her to know that I'm proud of her, and she inspires me just as much as she tells me I inspire her. So.
Love that. Are there any other recognition? I know we've had a few more people pop on. If not, you missed it, put it in the chat. We still want to celebrate that, but we'll go ahead and get started with some announcements. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to share my screen for the announcements and show you guys how you can find it in the coach office. So you don't have to wait for these weekly calls to know what is new, or wait for one of the leaders to post in the page and find out an update. you have access to all of this. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I can't, Danielle. Real quick. And I'm just going to show you how to do that because it's super simple. And then you're empowered to go check it out anytime. All right, do this real quick. Someone, I see Danielle, give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So when you log in on this top left corner, you'll see news. And when you click on it, you've got a couple options. The coach breaking news is like usually a lot of things that are covered in the national wake up call, but it's also things like, for example, back order situation. They're just updating you on the fly several days a week. Things are constantly popping up in here. So go ahead, read on it. It has FAQs to see more details. And then the other thing, and it populates on the first of the month to see all of the sales or other promotions that are being featured in that month, and new product launches, is the Coach Monthly. So you can go click on Coach Monthly, pops up its own web page, and you get to see everything here, your important dates, fill out your calendar. So we're not going to go over all of it. Y'all have access to this, but I wanted to share that because maybe if you're a newer coach or aren't active in your coach office very much, you didn't know that. So that's it for announcements. Anybody have anything to add before I get started?
I'll just go ahead and add about 30-day breakaway. If you guys haven't done the sample workout, I highly recommend it. You guys know that in order to be able to market things, that you need to be a product of that. And just to be able to have that sample workout, get out there and do a 20-minute run and a 20-minute lift, it's the coolest. Like, I'm not a runner. I wasn't looking forward to it, and I loved it. So I made a post in the team page. I'm sure it got lost in translation of all the stuff, but basically I gave you guys like 5 news tips about what was coming in the challenge packs, what there is to look forward to, and then I gave you a little section about steps. First step being do the sample workout. Second step being to share it on your social media platform, and I asked you guys some questions that you could answer on your social media. And then the third thing was I really challenged you guys to create some type of email system with Flowdesk. I gave you a 10-minute video you can watch to do that. I gave you a discount code if you guys are interested in using Flowdesk. That's what I use, and Mac uses, and Kelsey uses, and Jess uses, and so many people use. So it's awesome. It's just a really easy way to streamline things, and you guys can get ahead of a launch. We know the statistics. It takes how many times for somebody to see something before they commit. So for you to just be able to say, I did this sample workout, for you to be able to talk about it, you can invest in resources like Mompreneur, or Etsy is doing some 30-day breakaway Instagram story resources that you can buy, just so that you can start getting it out there and creating the hype around a new launch. Because if we can really learn how as a team to maximize on a launch individually, that it's just going to propel your business above and beyond. So every single launch, like, you need to treat it like you're launching it, like it's your new program. You made it and created it and made all the moves for it, and you're so pumped for it. And if you guys really get behind this, having a month in advance to do so, I really think that it's going to like explode your business for the fourth quarter. So there's so many runners in the world, like so many people are running, so many people are defeated that all of these turkey trots and all of this COVID stuff, it's just not gonna be able to happen for them. And we have a huge opportunity right now to create community for people that really desperately need it. So I just really advise you guys to start getting educated on the breakaway. We're going to keep talking about it every week on our team calls. And yeah, if you guys find any resources or have any ideas, use Transformation Nation to share that. And let's just rock the launch, because we're all going to be running 5Ks in a month, or 2 months. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, so my goal here with you guys is to kind of talk for maybe 25 minutes. I don't want to talk for more than that. I want to be able to leave time for questions because, one, many of you probably haven't heard from me before, so you might have questions about my 3.5 years as a coach or anything that I'm specifically going to be highlighting today. But also, it may trigger some of the other folks to open up about their quote unquote failures. And I would love for that opportunity of kind of like a little bit of sharing at the end. So I'm going to be really mindful of the clock and just kind of be open with you guys. I've got a beer. I am nervous as heck, not because I'm talking to a crowd, but if you follow the Enneagram and have either watched our like coach call on that, we had a team call a few months back, or have like done your own research, I'm a type 3. And type 3s don't express their failure to the world. It's like one of the biggest blocks. So for me to pick this as the call for tonight, yeah, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm also really excited because so much positive has come out of it. So with that, I'm going to get started. I have been a coach since January 2017. And really my journey started after saying no for 2 years. I'd always kind of had my own health and fitness routine until the September 2016 when we got our puppy, Sterling. That kind of changed everything. I was coming home every day for lunch to let him out, and I felt this major amount of guilt to go to the gym and leave him crated for 2 more hours. So I decided to stay home and have puppy cuddles, and for 4 months both of us paid for our gym membership that we never went to, and it impacted us in so many more ways than just not working out. It was laziness. We were watching so much more TV. We were eating out food because we weren't grocery shopping on the way back from the gym. So come Christmas, I went back home in Virginia. Oh, I'm loving seeing there's other type 3s. I'm a little bit of squirrel brain, so sorry. But when I went home for Christmas that year, my mom's like my best friend and also like truth bomb level to the max. And so she's like, don't gain any more weight. And that just kind of like was this huge gut punch for me, where I'm in a relationship that even with gaining weight, knowing that I'm gaining weight because I'm buying clothes in a higher size, feeling uncomfortable, feeling lazy, not like myself, Kyle always made me feel like beautiful. And then to get that message from my mom, it was like, whoa, I've been fooling myself. Something needs to change. So the day after Christmas, I signed up, and in January when I got back, my package was waiting for me, and I went all in with the intention of proving wrong that home workouts wouldn't work for me, and I was going to use the 30-day money back guarantee. I was that girl. But I'm also super motivated by free things and competition and prizes. So when I was involved in the challenge group, and this specific month that I started, Beachbody had a health bet, which meant if you logged 4 weeks in the month of January, each week, 5 shakes and 5 workouts at minimum, you would automatically be entered. It was logged through their challenge tracker system into a pool of money. So for every person that was doing a challenge group, Beachbody put in a certain number of money, and then you had the ability to earn back. Guys, I got $26 out of that, but that was enough to get me going. I finished 21 Day Fix Extreme as my first program, lost 6 pounds, canceled my gym membership, actually fell in love with Shakeology, the shake that I didn't think would be a thing for me, that was too expensive, signed up for the discount and said, I'm never going to coach. That's not for me. I had a bad experience with an MLM in college. It was a skincare makeup company, and I thought they were all the same. But I had such a great experience as a challenger and getting my own results that I was sharing it in my social media anyways. So that January, I was starting already to talk about my workouts. I was posting not really selfies, but more like my feet on the ground and the weights. Looks very different from like the confident posts I share now. But that's how I started, because I knew that the honeymoon phase of me feeling really motivated and energized to want to wake up every morning and do that workout was going to fade. So if I had other people on my social media where 3s care a lot about what other people think, that was going to keep me going. And if people really did notice it, they would see me post about my workouts on my stories, and they would say, you inspired me to get my workout done today. Like, thank you for posting. And that was enough to move me on to the next day. And it just kind of kept going. It also meant that people started to ask me what I was doing, because I was getting results. I lost 6 pounds with the first 3 weeks, 10 pounds in the first 2 months total. I was seeing results, and I had no problem talking about it, because when you find the perfect pair of jeans, or, you know, the best ice cream or whatever, as women, we just want everyone else to have that and to share it. So people were asking me and I was sharing it, and I was aware that I had a coach account and could sign them up. So with that, I started signing people up, and then I understood that there was a Success Starter program and Success Club prizes. Back then, Beachbody used to do a new prize every month. Now they do tiered prizes throughout the calendar year to give you bigger prizes for more Success Club points and more consistency. But back then it was something new every month. Like I said, I was super motivated by competition, by prizes. And so you tell me I can get a free shirt for helping 3 people? All right, I started to talk to people. But wait, I'm still not a coach. Long story short, I became a Success Starter without even really thinking about it for more than just the free t-shirt and helping people, because I loved the products. I wasn't selling. I wasn't doing the things that I hated about MLMs, because that's not what I was thinking. I didn't think of myself as a coach. I felt like as a coach, I would need the money, that I would need to have a story that matched other people that I knew as coaches, which at the time were people sharing that they started coaching because they needed the money to fill up their gas tank, and they were able to buy Christmas gifts for their family in cash instead of charging it a card. And that wasn't my story. So I felt like, well, I'm not coach material from that basis. Well, I showed up at Summit that year because you got a free ticket as a Success Starter. And I was blown away to see so many different journeys that led to people into coaching and that kept them there. And one of the ones that really resonated with me was Christina Delgado, who left a multi-6-figure income as a lawyer into full-time coaching. And so I was like, oh, there are other people that didn't necessarily start off doing this for the money. There's the passion behind it. There's the fulfillment. There's the community. There's the friendships. Why can't that be me? And I really came out of Summit a completely changed person with a focus on more saying, yeah, let's do this and let's do it your way in the way that feels right. So from that kind of like how I got started into coaching, I then hit Success Club every single month until January 2020. And this was like one of the strangest things for me. So January, in case you have never been to a Success Club trip before, the way that Success Club trips work is you earn them in 1 year, and then like you qualify for it, and then you earn the trip in terms of trip dollars the following year. Well, your trip dollars are a multiplier of your Success Club points. And in January, whatever that multiplier is doubled. So when you hit a certain number of points, you actually get twice as much benefit towards paying off your Success Club trip. And it's like, what an awesome way to start the year. I'd always hit really high numbers every January. There's Beachbody is smart and puts out a launch. There's the hype behind New Year's resolution. There's, as you become a more like seasoned coach, there's everybody who is renewing their membership again and can sign up with another challenge pack. And this particular month, I hit Success Club too. And I think I had 6 share carts either not get filled out, or people said, I'm just going to do the bod renewal instead. And it really hit me hard. It hit me hard from every point because I had been doing this for 3 years. I knew what I was doing. I knew how to hit Success Club. I'd hit Success Club as high as I think like 28 before, like 6. I was like, I remember one of my first calls as a coach, that first year, Kelsey Smith said, Success Club 5 is lazy. Like, that's what was going through my head. And I'm just like, how could this happen? Don't have the money for my Success Club trip. You know, I lost my legend status, which is not just a little symbol on your name tag at Summit. It gives you perks to early access on like hotels for Summit. It gives you so many other perks that I'm like, I just couldn't believe myself. And I remember having a call with Natalie, and I was like, I'm so upset. Like, I can't go through another year at the same thing, like just staying the same coach. And there were so many things that at one point just kind of all added up in February and March timeframe that followed this event. One, I had to accept the fact that it frickin' happened. Like, that month was over, but a new month started. And I could dwell and dwell and dwell. It wasn't going to give me more points back and end me in Success Club for January. And it most definitely wasn't the mindset that was going to get me anywhere in February. The other thing was personal development. And this was a big one for me that kind of happened in those 2 months. One, Natalie recommended looking into the Enneagram. And I started off this call talking about that because it really was a big part of what helped me going through this year. There's a book called The Road Back to You, and someone can just type that in there because I always gets asked, what was the book? The Road Back to You. And you get to read every type. I can tell you I was going through there, like thinking about different coworkers and family members and, oh, I bet you they're this number. But it really dives not just into what you do as each personality type from the Enneagram, but why you do it. And understanding the background behind the why is so much more powerful because you're able to acknowledge it and then adjust accordingly, right? A lot of it comes down to different childhood things that maybe you were brought up on. So that was a really big moment for me to go through that. The other part on personal development was diving into leadership. So I was invited to a leadership book club, call it a book club, of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, but in the workbook style. Let me tell you, starting off the year in January, where I didn't hit Success Club, and I had 2 coaches under me, I didn't feel like very much of a leader. But maybe that was exactly my sign when it was something exclusive that I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And it really brought me like different lessons than I expected. Of course, there were things I learned about being a leader and all those different characteristics, but the workbook itself starts off with a personal assessment on the 21 laws that it then teaches you about. And you have to rank yourself on how you feel like you perform for each of those 21 laws. I struggled to go through that because half of my brain wanted to answer the question from my corporate world. I'm in the oil and gas industry. I have a full-time job. And I wanted to answer it from that. But I was doing this as a coach for personal development. And when I looked at the way that my brain was struggling to rate myself, I had skills in some of these leadership categories that I wasn't using in the business. And to literally be sitting there going, I have to give myself a 1, which was the lowest score, as a business owner, knowing that in the corporate world I'm a 4 out of 5, sucks so hard. But it also was finally that first time I think I really comprehended what treating this like a business means. It's not just keeping the promises to yourself and showing up on the calls and being proactive in like learning the different things that the company was doing, but it was also using your strengths and what makes you and good at what you're good at in this business. And that was like, whoa. Like, I didn't even have to change anything to have those skills available to me. So those were 2 things, and pretty much the biggest thing that came out of that from a category level was to do personal development that's personal to you and that you need growth in. That was huge for me, and that has really changed the kind of books that I've read. I can't tell you how many books I've gotten halfway through this year and said, I'm good, I need something else right now, which is also like OCD, I want to finish it, but it's not just what's the new fun book, what's the Rachel Hollis, what's this, it's like, what do you need to grow in? And then lastly was kind of like my moment back to Natalie's call where I was like, I can't say the same, something needs to change. And I got to this point where I said, I don't care about Success Club anymore. And I didn't really mean like, I don't care to hit Success Club, but my focus as an Enneagram 3 who wanted that recognition on those boards, who wanted to see the numbers that I was hitting, benchmarks, it wasn't about the Success Club number anymore. It had to be about the people. And I know we talk about lives changed, but as a coach who had been in this business for a few years, I was getting freaking damn comfortable with 5 renewals for Success Club points. Because when people's year comes up, you're like, hey, you can either pay $100 or we've got a sale right now and you can pay $140 and you get a whole challenge pack. And a lot of people actually say yes to that. So I'm like, oh, I got Success Club in the bag on bod renewals. But guess what? That meant that my challenge groups started to dwindle down because there was no new blood. I started to feel like, what next? Because these people they already know Beachbody, they already know the workouts. They're only doing this for 1 month. They weren't continuing the shakes. There's a reason that I was getting Success Club points. You don't get Success Club points from coaches. And it was like, okay, everything was added up. It's not about Success Club anymore. It's about 3 new people every month. So my focus now became on 3 people versus the number Success Club 6. And then the other thing was seeing people have success. So I have a highlight on my Instagram that I think I titled Transform, but that's irrelevant. I started to make a point that every week I needed some sort of celebration that wasn't my own journey, to show that like this, what I do was more than just my own health and like my own weight loss or strength or any of those changes, that the people who were signing up with me as coaches and as customers were seeing their own success and progress towards their goals. So I would start to make it a like point to screenshot and share these different victories, whether they were non-scale victories or actual program completions and before and afters, on my Instagram as my own accountability for recognizing that as a coach, I'm helping other people. Because if I wasn't helping other people, what the F was I doing as a coach? Like that, for me, right? That's the process that I went through in my head. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I don't need this business anymore to help me get my workout going like the way it started as my own accountability. That is beyond now. 3.5 years, it's just routine. It's like brushing my teeth, you guys. Feels weird not to work out and not to have my shake. So it had to be about something more, and that's what it was for me. All right, let me capture myself a little bit. So then COVID hits, right? And a couple things kind of came up through this time too. I was working from home. My full-time job before, I was traveling a lot. I had a weird schedule in terms of hours. I was meeting with clients. I'm in the marketing business development world. So I would have late night events. I would have full day golf tournaments. I was traveling about 2 weeks out of the month. It was super inconsistent. And being home gave me actually a lot more time because I wasn't on the road. I wasn't driving hours every day. And it meant I could tune in live to National Wake Up Calls. I could tune in live to some other mentorship calls and bonus calls. And one of the things that I was able to do too, because I'm part of Market Council for Houston, was chat a bit more with my corporate mentor from that side, Mary Day. And one thing that came up as part of like different check-ins was, what's your Success Club points and how many new coaches are you bringing in? And well, like I said, in January, I had 2 coaches under me. Like that never seemed to be my strength. Let me like just say, I'll tell you why, but I wasn't the person that was bringing in coaches. I was good at bringing in new customers and hitting Success Club by whatever means possible. And so I told her a little bit about my story on how I felt like I couldn't really talk about coaching if it wasn't about the money, and like, you know, the other things that were so personal to me from fulfillment and community was like, how do I open up about this? Plus I still actually like my full-time job now. So I'm like being sensitive to that. And I couldn't figure out a way to talk about coaching. So I just didn't for 3.5 years. And it also was something that came up through the leadership book club. Well, she shared with me these 3 questions that have come up from other coaches that she's worked with, and they changed everything for me. I'm going to pull them up and read them to you guys really quickly. And I do have this like made into a PDF so you can print it and write it out. I'll share it with you guys after the call. But the 3 questions are, what are 5 things you were scared of? This is like before you joined as a coach and had your own journey. A lot of those things for me stem from my previous MLM experience in college. What are 5 things that you love about being a coach? And then what are 5 things they do that inspire you? And they is your upline, other coaches. And what that really talks to is who you were before, why you're doing what you do now, and your goals and aspirations and that big dream part afterwards. But I could fill out those 5 things. I could talk about the fact that I didn't think I had enough time. I could talk about that I was scared about having to deal with inventory, which isn't a thing. I could talk about feeling like I would need to be the expert, because that was another part of the thing with the makeup world, is teaching people how to do that. And I'm like, oh, none of those are me. And why do I love coaching? Well, they're my 5 reasons, right? My 5 reasons of community and fulfillment and my own accountability. Like, I could fill that out. And then again, same part with the vision. And so it wasn't just like, oh, we'll talk about coaching and the income opportunity and the team and this. It's like your version of why coaching. So all of that kind of came about, and I was like, I can start talking about coaching. I'm sitting at home. I've got more time. In fact, in April, my company forced everyone in my marketing division to burn a week of vacation. And that's when things like really hit home for me. It was like all of it kind of coming around, like, I'm going to talk about coaching this whole week, because when everyone else is probably burning vacation and not doing anything, I've got something I can dive into that I love, and that's going to bring in income and bring in changing of lives. And April is when things really shifted around. So the mindset part started after January, and April is when things changed. 10 rounds came out, and I was forced to take that week of vacation. And what I really went into was, I'm doing 10 rounds as a test group. Morgan Jones, who's on this call, is one of the coaches on my team, and we kind of came together and we were like, we're both super excited for this. Let's do a test group style for our team. And we went balls to the walls with inviting and filling this thing up. And both of us had incredible months in April. But it really stemmed from us actually being excited about it too. And being in a place where we just genuinely, like, we're so pumped that we wanted other people to have the same boxing experience. I think I did the sample workout 3 times for it. I was so excited. Going all in that test group and having a chat for the test group members really, that's great English, made such a big difference, because when I was going through all this doubt and not feeling like I was a good coach and that people weren't getting results, you saw people and feedback every day in that group, and why you were so important to have brought them into this journey. So fast forward to now, and I said I was going to talk about income too, because a growing team equals a growing income, with the caveat that it's a growing successful team. So I started talking about coaching more in the beginning of the year. I actually started getting more coaches because of that. Guess what? Surprise. And people were hanging around as customers more, with better retention of the products, because they were seeing results with them. I felt like my entire way of approaching coaches with my customers and my team changed, because it was so much more focused on them getting the results. And I'll never want to say that I was a person who said, check the box, they're a Success Club point and they're gone. I always truly did care about my customers and wanted them to see results. But my focus primarily, I will say, was still on the new points and that month. And it did a flip, and the points took care of itself. So I'm going to share with you guys really quickly an actual visual, my exact income through Beachbody combined for myself and my spouse account. Beachbody disclaimer here, doesn't guarantee any income. Each coach is responsible for their own diligence, skill, all that stuff. So I'm going to share my screen and show this with you guys, because what I want you to see from everything I talked about, this is the PDF, by the way, I'll be sharing. Coaching, Sharing Made Simple. Answer those 3 questions. Is that everything so far was focused on Success Club and new challengers. And quite frankly, the reality that these challengers weren't continuing their products. They were pretty much a challenge pack and never order again until the next year kind of person. So let's start with some numbers, because I am a numbers person and going to give it to you guys all. My average Success Club point in 2017 was 8.4 points for the year. 2018, my average was 13.5. what did I basically do? It basically just added more Success Club points and higher commission and got a higher income because of that. I also went diamond that year, and so the little bit of team cycles helped with that income growth. But that's really part of the big difference. Guess what, 2019? Nothing changed. My average Success Club points was 10.2. And obviously then it being another year, you have a couple more lead orders and just some little things that fill in that 3 Success Club point difference on the average level. But my income ended hundreds of dollars difference. After more than doubling it the year before, it didn't feel good. And so going into this year and then starting off with Success Club 2, I'm like, I'm doomed. Except I decided to change those things. And so I fought through February, I fought through March, and then April came. And I started to build a team, many of which actually I think almost all are still here, and so many are cheering me on this call. And April and May were the biggest recruiting months for new coaches on my team. I think in those 2 months I brought on like 8 coaches, personally sponsored. And not just bringing them in, but helping them hit Success Club and rank advance. And we have success starters in my downline. Danica's in the 9-week control freak test group right now. It's so exciting. Morgan was seeing her own rank advancements with her team. It was just all growing. And so we decided to keep doing those test groups and do them from MBFA. And it like has continued to become this culture of results and passion and focus and togetherness as a team. Earlier this month, I passed my 2019 total income in the first less than 9 months. And let me tell you, like, that is because of my team. I did a little bit of number crunching, because guys, I told you I'd really like to do this. My Q1 of 2019, so take it back a year. Q1 of 2019, my average team cycle bonus in the first 3 months of 2019 was $28. Basically 2 cycles. By the end of the year, it went up to like 35. And so in first quarter 2020, it was 37 a week. Guys, that's like not a difference, right? For third quarter, which we still have a couple weeks left, but I did the average of the weeks that are current from third quarter. So July, August, September. My average is $129 a week in team cycle bonuses. That's not an accident. That's not just adding new discount coaches. These are coaches who are building depth. And that's a huge change. From 37 to 129 a week, that difference, which I can't do the math, I should have written it down, but that difference multiplied by a full year, by 52 weeks, is almost $5,000. Just like take that in for a second, right? And that can just keep growing because then they're going to do that to their teams. And so I'm going to stop sharing and get back to me. It's not about just bringing on coaches, and it's not about just bringing on new customers, because I kind of proved that that doesn't get you anywhere. It's about helping those new coaches and those new customers see their success. And I'm like, still pissed AF that I missed it in January. But if all of this growth and that mindset came only because of that, then I'm forever thankful. So I think I stuck to my 30 minutes. I really want to open it up for questions. I have not been able to keep up with the chat because I knew I was going to get total squirrel brain. So if anyone had questions on there, unmute yourself, put them again in the chat. I really want to hear from you guys.
Jess, maybe you can share, like, what are you doing with your coaches to help them see success? Because I think one part of it is transitioning your brain of like, I can bring on coaches, but then the other part is, how do you help your coaches be successful? For a lot of you, you're sitting at Emerald trying to figure out how the hell you're going to get to diamond, what does that look like?
Yeah. So the first parts for me was untangible. It was the confidence in me knowing that I could help them. Just that alone already set the pace differently than being like, oh, I got my coach. I don't know if I'm going to be good enough at leading them. And then if I'm not, are they going to hit their numbers and then are they going to leave? Like that whole mindset of what ifs in the negative world had to absolutely be non-existent. I had to start focusing on every single positive. So the first positive, they're excited and they signed up. So then what are they committing to? And actually what was really interesting from a lot of the girls who joined me, they joined Beachbody and coaching at the exact same time. They weren't challengers before. And I know that only came about because I was talking so much about coaching. And I'm going to maybe call on some of my girls because they'll see it from their perspective. But for me, it really was, we had a team community. So we have our own chat in Facebook where we are celebrating everything. I know a lot of times it's easy to like recognize the Beachbody benchmarks of rank and Success Club points and progress towards other like Beachbody level recognition, Success Starter. And while we do celebrate all of that, we also celebrated all the small things. Completing their first program, having their first 10 pounds loss, having their first interested customer, not even signed up, but like somebody was interested because they needed to know that yes, we all get no's, but you're gonna have that person who said maybe. And that's your sign that like, keep going. They might not be a yes right now, but they're there and they're watching you and everything you do matters. So doing that and then getting to know each other on a personal level. A lot of these were actually girls I didn't know before. We all met through Instagram. So we do monthly happy hours where we don't talk business. We don't do trainings. We pretty much always have a drink in hand and we are just shooting the shit. And that part has been really fun because, like I said, one of my biggest motivators was the community and being able to pass that on to them and for them to know even if they aren't hitting Success Club or they aren't hitting certain benchmarks, they still feel part of a team. And then that became the motivator for a lot of them to want to help towards the team and grow together. I want to know if anybody wanted to chime in. Danica, Ashley, Morgan on that. Violetta, looking who's on here.
I'll chime in. I know I'm not a new coach, but I do have something to add. I think what Jess does that works really well for me is she like constantly pushes me to do better, which is something that I'm really scared to do with my coaches because I'm scared that if I like, push them too hard, they're gonna like run away or something. I don't know. But she's just like always challenging me to like do better, and that's really helpful because I'm the type of person that needs that to succeed. So don't be afraid to nudge a little bit,
I'm trying to catch up on the chat.
I can go ahead and add a few things just because I feel kind of in relation to this, but just in some studying and just kind of reflection that I've been doing myself. I feel like so many coaches, we come to these calls and just we see like these inspiring changes, right? So it's like, here you are, this coach that for 3 years you were one place and then all of a sudden you were another place, and everyone wants to know, what's that secret sauce? Like, what's the thing? And you tell us, you're like, well, I went through this leadership thing and I did this, and coaches are like, okay, but what's that action item that you did? Or what's that? Everyone can't seem to pinpoint it. And then we all want to know, and then we get you give us that information, and then we want to know, well, how are you getting your coaches inspired, and what are you doing? Because everyone wants to ask these questions because we want to duplicate that within our teams. And one thing that I want to share and give you guys a mindset that you can take for yourself and take with your teams is a couple things. The first thing is this, is that you need to wrap your mind, we talk about this often, but maybe not in this way, around vision. And that the stronger that the vision is and the clarity that you have for what you want, naturally people are going to hone in on their own vision for what they want. If you're somebody that is strongly motivated by income, if you're strongly motivated by community, if you need to know, that's the number one question that you need to ask yourself. And that's what you need to know is, why are you here? And the next question you need to ask yourself is, if you could achieve that vision through this business, how would that make you feel? And then that is what becomes a duplicatable process. Is, guys, we're so focused on this being like a business, and it is a business, but what I look at this is, it's a personal development program with a comp plan. Like, that's what we do. This is a personal development program, and we have a compensation plan, because every single day we're focusing on how we can become better, how we can find more clarity, how we can help other people find that thing in their life that they're looking for to become more better. And what I wanted to say with that was, I feel like so many people, Americans, the world, everybody, we come into, by no fault of our own, is we're all very much in a fixed mindset. Meaning that, okay, I either got it or I don't. And since I haven't had fast success, I must not be cut out for this. Have you ever felt that way? I might not be cut out for this because I haven't seen success as fast as somebody else, or this just isn't really working out for me. And what fixed mindset really means, and this is something that I want to ask you guys to really dive in deep on, is, are you attaching your worth to the no's in your business? Because so many of us are attaching our worth to that no. Instead of saying, I don't want to have, like, I understand that this is how I'm thinking, but I also want to know that there's another way. I don't have to have a fixed mindset. I can actually train myself to have a growth mindset. And a growth mindset says that I'm not defined by yes or no, and I have the opportunity to figure things out. My abilities are not set in stone. I can actually become a student at this business and get better at it. And I think so many of us, having that fixed mindset, we get so defeated thinking, well, I just can't do this. And I really challenge you into, that's a very duplicatable thing that you can teach your coaches too, is to know that a growth mindset is a choice, and that it's capable, and that we're humans and we have the potential to learn and grow. We just have to take the time to do that. And then the final thing that I want to say is, for duplication processes, is teach your teams to focus on actions and not results. Because what happens when we focus on results? We go out there and we say, okay, I'm going to do this business activity tracker today. Does anybody want to hop on a power hour and do this business activity tracker today with me? 50 people are like, yeah, I need to hit Success Club. I'm super pumped. Let me hop on. Let's all work really hard. Everybody that's on that call is results driven. You want to know why I know that? Because at the end of that hour, nobody's hit their Success Club goal. So guess what? People get defeated. And are they going to wake up tomorrow and do something that didn't work for them the day prior? Probably not, because they're results driven. But if you focus on actions, because what happens, guys, if you do the action long enough, the thing is going to happen. But if you're just focused on the result of what that action is going to do, and having that microwave mindset of it needs to happen right now, we're going to get defeated, and we're not going to take the action again. So one thing that you can really take to your teams and train them on is, I don't care what comes out of this. I want you to get in the habit of doing the work. I want you to get in the habit of knowing that this is available to you, and here's the steps. And if you do the actions long enough, something is going to come of it. So sorry, I kind of went off a thing there, but just things you guys can take to your teams that I felt were really duplicatable, that were simple, that you can apply for yourself and pass it on, which is number one, vision. Number two, letting people know, hey, this is not a fixed mindset. This is a growth mindset. It's an option that you get to choose which one you want to be. And number three, focus on the actions, not the results, because the action will inevitably bring the result.
I wanted to pop.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it, Ashley.
I actually just wanted to mention something that has been great for me that Jess and Morgan have created, is just this whole sense of community. Hypothetically, even if I didn't even work out, I would still want to be a part of this community. And like at the beginning, I didn't even want to buy Beachbody. I even asked Jess, like, can I just be a part of your community? Like, I'll buy whatever else you're gonna sell. I don't want Beachbody. Like, seems like a scam, whatever. Whatever I felt at the beginning, but like I wanted to be a part of that community. I wanted this girl gang. I wanted that support, and like that's what I bought into. I bought into Jess, and I bought into her and the person that she was. Like, it had nothing to do with Beachbody or anything like that. So like I think one of the biggest takeaways is like sell yourself and who you are, because you will attract the people, your people that are like you. And like now me and Jess are great friends. And like I would have never known that, didn't buy because of Beachbody. I didn't buy because of how convenient it is. Of course, I now realize how amazing this company is and like what it's done for me, my self-esteem, and she planted a seed and it's now blooming into something bigger that I didn't even expect. But so I guess just be yourself. You'll figure it out. And right now, like I am not hitting Success Club. My mind is somewhere else, but I still have plans and I'm still here because of the community. So that's it.
I'm just gonna hop off of that because that just was like me in a nutshell, like 1,000%. I did Beachbody years ago and I quit because I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. This stuff doesn't work, whatever. And then I got a glimpse of this community and this team and what it was, and it suddenly became like so much less about the at-home workouts and more about the support that you get from the team. I haven't hit Success Club. The first month that I qualified for Success Club, I messed up my HD order and I didn't get my Success Starter, whatever. And so that like I felt defeated. I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm done. And then that started to like my mindset shifted from like, yeah, I can do this. Like I'm a great person. I'm motivating people. People are saying you're inspiring me, whatever. And then I was like, nope, I can't do it. Like my brain just gets in the way all the time. And then this team pulls me out. I have plans for success. I want to hit diamond. I'm going to hit diamond, but it's like when it works for me, if that like makes sense, it has to feel right for you. And if you're not in the right mindset, then you need to like go backwards and work on yourself. Like I just dropped 2 grad classes because my mindset was like shit, pardon my language, but I was like, I can't do this anymore. I lost track of me. And then as soon as I drop them, I get on this team call and Jess is speaking and I'm like, oh my God, you're my spirit animal. Like I need to hear this right now. So thank you for like opening your heart, even though you didn't want to share it, because I needed that. And you didn't know that, but I needed that. So I wanted to share that with you. And Ashley, yes, like we'll hit Success Club, girl. We got it.
I wanted to piggyback off all of them because I've kind of seen Jess do this from behind the scenes. And I think, like Natalie was saying, you're looking for the secret sauce of what she did. And honestly, guys, it's not to toot my own horn, but we met each other on a Success Club trip and we think very differently and we just connected and vibed, and we hold ourselves accountable to every single thing we do in our business, whether it's a coach sneak peek, whether it's hitting Success Club by a certain date, whether it's advancing an emerald on our team. We're not on the same teams. I mean, yeah, in the big larger scheme of things, but Jess thinks very differently, and I need that in my business, and I think differently than her, and she needs that piece in her business. And so I really encourage you, if you're struggling with mindset, get out of your own team, like the people you hang with, and find someone that can push you in a way that you've never been pushed before. Because now she's coming to visit me next month, and we would have never crossed paths that way. And that's the biggest thing about Beachbody. Your world becomes so much bigger and your life becomes so much more fulfilling when you put in the work with people you want to work with, right? So like if you're looking around yourself thinking, why isn't this working? It's probably because you're hanging with people that aren't really doing the work. So it's nothing bad or against it, but you have to, again, go back to what do you want? And that's kind of what Jess did in January, February. That right now, September could be, this week could be your January, February, and just say, okay, hey, who's on the SC board? I want to pick their brain. What are they doing? How can I work with them? How can I surround myself with people? Even if it's just a YouTube video, and get your booties on the Success Club trips, because you never, or the next event that we can do in person, you never know who you're going to meet. And I just think it goes such a long way of having that person that's going to call you out on your bullshit. Because guess what? You think Natalie, you think Jess, you think Morgan, all of us want to send invites every day? Heck no. But guess what? We still do it because the why is bigger than the excuse you have in your head. All right, I'll stop now. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, we do totally push each other. We don't always hit every goal that we set for ourselves, but that's the thing, is like we're following up until the last minute. Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple more minutes. I didn't realize it was going to take a whole hour. I'm really glad I ate first. Is there anything else y'all want to say or ask me? I'm literally an open book at this point.
Jess, why do you coach?
Why do I coach? So obviously that answer has changed throughout the time of being a coach. Really, for me, I think I've realized through, at one point it was like loving my life, like getting to a point where I was in the dream corporate world. Used to work for one of the largest companies in the oil and gas industry, but I would wake up every morning and go, I don't want to work, go to work. And that sucked because everyone else would look from the outside and go, you've got it, like you've made it. I switched careers out of engineering into marketing. I'm still in the same industry, but I'm in marketing. And that would have only happened because of coaching, because of the confidence I got in myself, because of the personal growth. And honestly, the marketing world of selling myself and selling a service, I was only actually good at because I'd been coaching for 2 years. That's actually the same skill. So I'm convinced that's how I got the job. But beyond that and what it's changed for my life up to this point, going forward, and the vision is really to have options. I am the biggest like future planner, and I used to always know what I wanted. And that was a lot easier when I didn't like my job. Now I love my job, and I love both of my jobs. And it's like, I just want to be able to have options because I don't know how my life is going to change when I have kids one day. And if this business is something where it can be sustainable for my family and my future as a sole option of income from my end, then that's a flexibility that I want to have the choice of. I feel like through all of this with coaching, I just don't want to be forced into any which way. And so the flexibility to choose my career, the flexibility to choose a location. I lived in Houston for 5 years now. I'm from the East Coast. Y'all, I freaking miss seasons. I can't tell time when it's still 90 degrees between April and September. This shit. And like, there's so many things that I miss. So to be able to choose those things because it's what I want and what's best for my family versus letting life and other people's goals choose that for me, that's my personal driver. And then to be able to pass that on to my team. So like Ashley kind of said, like because of coaching, she's driven into so many other projects and passions for her life and being able to impact other people. That's what I love to do. It's like, yeah, I'm going to stop there. That's pretty much it. When was the last time? It's been a while. That's true, yeah. Everyone share your vision with someone tonight. That would be huge. Your success partner, your coach, your spouse.
Let's do it in the team page.
Yeah. I love that. All right, like I said, I'll have that PDF for you guys, and don't be a stranger. I'm just a message away. Thanks for being on the call, you guys.